Hey again, everybody, it's Ron at Becoming Enlightened Together. So, we're going to go ahead and do a couple more readings, one at a time, again, to make up for those I missed during the week so far. And again, these are all timeless, so it's for whenever you are meant to see them or stumble upon them, or whatever the case may be. If you don't believe in fate, if you believe that just things happen haphazardly and everything else, and that's fine. I'm not challenging you on that. I believe it's a little of both anyways, and that's what allows the free will concept to come in. But I do believe that things are more or less, in some ways, predetermined as well. We may not know it. That's where we feel we have the free will. And, some of those things allow us to experience the lessons that we need. If we choose to do the wrong thing and make the wrong decision, then we're going to end up getting, if you will, redirected, and it's often not a pleasant experience for most of us. So this is, one of the things that helps catalyze our desire for wisdom and seeking self-knowledge. Okay? So, alright, so Monday's energy, let's go ahead and start off by looking at the overall energy for the week, and that is that of Ingwas. Okay? And Ingwas represents the god Ing, or otherwise known as Freyr. And as I stated with the last reading, he's basically the twin brother of Freya, two of the more highly esteemed in the pantheon of Nordic gods and goddesses and so on. That's not to say that they're more so than the others. I'm just saying that as far as the literature that exists on them, there's a great deal of both of those personalities. Okay. Now, what it talks about, in essence, the overall energy in reverse, since I failed again to say that, is that of an explosive power, so to speak, being released. Somebody who is extremely angry, perhaps, and they're just spilling their guts and revealing a lot of information about themselves. Okay, so it's the invisible made visible. It talks about also somebody who's very self-absorbed, impotent, movement without change of any kind. They appear to, be doing things, and they want people to believe that it's for some kind of greater purpose or whatever the case may be, but in reality, there's no value to what it is that they're doing whatsoever, except to try to fool those around them. Okay. So, in other words, somebody is still very, very low vibrational and more concerned about the opinions of those around them rather than their own authenticity. Okay. So, this is basically somebody who's very, very disassociated, with their environment at this point. Somebody who uses a seductive force, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just sexual seduction. It could be seduction through charm and many other things, okay, that people often do. The kind of the used car salesman kind of a thing, right? Where they have that twinkle in their eye and a smile bigger than life, and they can talk almost anybody into, purchasing a piece of crap. So it's that kind of energy that we're looking at. And again, it's somebody else who's also trying to get people to believe that the things that they're doing, the movements that they're making, have a higher intent than in reality. So it's meaningless motion. It's just busy work. It doesn't amount to anything. Okay, so that's the overall energy for the week. Now, the energy for today specifically was that of Degas, which is also in reverse. Okay, so it's an imbalanced energy, to say the least. It's basically nighttime obscurity versus daylight clarity. It's basically darkness and confusion. It's unresolved problems, and it's non-transformation. It's unawakenedness, and somebody, again, who's very unbalanced. Somebody with attitude. It's endings, limits. It's somebody who's coming full circle in endeavor of some type or cycle. And it's blindness and hopelessness. So that is the past energy representing today. Now, today's energy is in line with that. The energy that we pull for today is that of Berkana, And Berkana is, get it wrong every time, it's in, I hope this looks reversed to you, but this is Berkana in the reverse. And Berkana is the goddess Birch Does rune, typically associated with her. And she's a god of flora, fauna, or goddess, of the animals, the young, women, and those who cross over to the other side. Okay. Now she has other responsibilities and characteristics that are attached to her, and she is very, very similar in those attributes and characteristics, as I said last reading, to many, many other goddesses, of other cultures. So again, this is why I believe that there may have been one truth, and it had been filtered down into all the different cultures, and their different cultures had influence upon, the stories that are associated with them. Because I see likenesses in many regards to so much within both the conventional and what is looked at as either pagan or esoteric belief systems. And the only way you would know that is to have the courage to look at those things. And I'm not saying you're not courageous if you don't, but most people tend to have a set belief system that's often passed down to them, which was passed down to those who passed it down to you. And it was, like Mark Twain said, basically not beliefs that have been really run through the rigid, microscopic, I guess you could say, comparison of other competing information. So when you try to look at things as a whole, as those who truly did overcome, the many obstacles, the box that we're all put in through academia and many other things, politics, achieved amazing things, even though they often are left penniless and, you could say, discarded by the world. They didn't recognize their brilliance and their contribution to the edification of mankind as a whole, even though they were so many levels above. They were before their time. Yes, that's the way you put it. Okay. So what Berkana states in the reverse is basically that it's allowed status quo or non-beginning of something. It's conquest. It's lack of growth. It's force. Somebody's infertile, or it's an infertile force. Non-creativity. They'll steal ideas and work from other people. It's also somebody who has family needs and problems, various types, domestic troubles, anxiety, anxiety over those close to you, abandon, talks about carelessness and loss of control. It talks about deception, sterility, stagnation, and worry, the blurring of one's conscience. So, or conscience, I should say. And there's a huge difference. Although they do have, of course, overlapping. They overlap. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. So, it's a very uncomfortable energy to be in. And that's how somebody close or somebody's close within our spiritual and physical or electromagnetic influence are going through. Low vibrational energies. People that are and have in the past affected us in some way, fashion, or form. And again, it's implicating that it could be somebody within our family, whether immediate family or maybe a chosen, boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, spouse, whatever. Okay, it could also be that of a mom or dad, aunt, uncle. It could be even your siblings. Okay. All right, so that's the overall energy presently. Now, the obstacles and challenges were that of Othala in the upright. And that's an unusual rune to be in the upright. It talks about one's heritage, bloodline, legacy, the things they leave behind, that kind of thing. So, it's the rune of belonging and what survives you in the end. Okay, as I said, your legacy. It represents the concept of legacy, both, materialistically as well as spiritually. You can be very wealthy, pass that along, but you can be a tyrant or just, very evil, which is usually the case. When you have a tremendous amount of wealth, you often, or more often than not, see a lowering in equal measure of their moral or ethical overall standing as it compares to the rest of humanity. So domestic troubles talks about anxiety, again, over somebody that's close to us, friend, family, immediate or otherwise. Deception, sterility, stagnation. We see so much in terms of both being impotent, sterile, or stagnant, all those. And somebody who's very worried currently. Okay. Now, the obstacles and challenges, as I said, were that of Althala. So it's basically also talking about things that are passed down to you in the same light. It's not just your physical wealth or lineage, passing down this material thing or that material thing, land, whatever. It's also about, what your particular lineage stands for as a family unit, so to speak. So it's what's passed down. It's not necessarily what's chosen. So sometimes, especially if we get in a very karmic family, you may be, exposed to and even initiated in things that you probably would never have chosen, left to your own design. But since it's a family thing, and they had their whole lifetime to initiate you into these types of beliefs and thoughts and feelings and so on, it can turn even the most lovely human being into a monster. Now that means that there's still that spark of who they truly are inside of them, but it's going to take something outside of them typically to trip that spark and to ignite it, to get them to do what only they can do to change. Okay, that's what it's talking about here, and that's why it's under obstacles and challenges. That is the challenge. Will they embark on it? Do they have the mental fortitude and the courage, the tenacity to work through all that they have been told and taught their whole life? We're all dealing with that, whether we know it or not, because everything that we've been taught from the moment we are able to understand, the things that are being told or shown to us are typically lies. This world is surrounded by and controlled by liars. And if you haven't come to that conclusion yet, then give it some contemplation, reflection, some prayer, some meditation, and I assure you, you will see it. It's not hard to see. Okay? And this is also talking about that type of thing happening on a family unit as well. It's not just the political or the religious or, the financial or you name it. I mean, every subject matter that's important or affects our lives is basically controlled by many of these megalomaniacs. And it takes your personal tenacity and effort to overcome all of that. That's your obstacles. That's what you, to use matrix metaphors, in order to become Neo, so to speak, have to do. He had to do all the work. He had to find the wisdom and do the inner work to discover the truth so that he could escape the matrix. In a sense, that's really the reality of each and every one of us as well. Okay. Now, the help and advice is that of Manas. Manas in the upright. Okay. Now, Manas in the upright talks about, what is to be human, with all of its complexities, good, bad, and different. Not the gods, but humans in general. It talks about one's thoughts and memories, their identity. It also talks about cooperation, one with another. It talks about conflicts, conflict resolution, or not. It talks about reflection, a mirror unto yourself. What you see, you try to emulate or because you admire somebody, and this is exactly one of the motivations that is used against us constantly. And this is why people focus on the outside things and not the inside things. So, you as who you are is what this energy reflects. The self, as well as community. Kinship and structure talks about one's awareness, talks about both friends and enemies, and again, how you work together with, cooperate, or don't cooperate with the others, in your energy. Now, the future outcome, again, is not very positive in this particular case. It's that of Sowillo, which is the Sun card in the tarot deck, but it's also the reverse in regards to the energy for today, or to be more specific, for Monday. So Sowillo, when it's in the reverse, is basically that of blocked energy and obscurity. Again, we're seeing that word, something that somebody is trying to keep hidden, or maybe it's being hidden from them, from others. It's talking about hesitation as a result of that. It's the shadows. It's shadows in general pretending to be wisdom. So somebody who is out there portraying some form of wisdom to others perhaps may indeed be living in the shadows. Okay, so don't trust anything that you hear, not from me, not from anybody else, until you have taken the time to reflect and to check those things out to see if they indeed are true or not. And that's the only way to find truth. Let truth take you to where the truth resides. Don't come at it with any preconceived notions or ideas of what it should be or is, or you'll never find it. Okay? I know it's difficult to do in reality, but that's the only way to find any truth in this world. If one does not search for truth as they would for buried treasure, they'll never find it. Again, echoed from sentiments that was found within the Judeo-Christian mindset, so to speak. So, also, Sowillo is talking about somebody who lacks wisdom, somebody who lacks, their decision-making processes are flawed. They do make wrong actions, regardless of what it looks like on the outside, and their illusions, their mask is cracking, so to speak, and the reality of who they truly are behind that mask is coming forward. So it's also that of somebody suffering from both disease, illness of some type. It's failure, it's being unprotected at this moment, it's lacking confidence, and again, stagnation. It's been the one consistent overall energy that we see not only throughout the week, but on a daily reading as well here. So it's not positive, but it gives you an insight into, and this is for perhaps the cross watchers out there maybe watching, some idea of why things are going down the way that they are. And it could also give you the insight how to overcome that if you have a mind and a heart to do so. Otherwise, you're hopelessly lost and adrift. And unfortunately, your previous actions, thoughts, and deeds are going to lead you into the maelstrom of despair and ruin. That's just the way that it is if you continue to allow things to go the way that they are. It takes effort to get out of this matrix. It takes genuine, I'm talking courage. I mean, just read some books on philosophy. Marcus Aurelius in particular. I mean, he had all the power in the world as the leader of Rome, at its height. And yet, this man practiced Stoicism. In fact, Stoicism in many ways is reflective of his life. So just read on things and people like that, and you too will find the inspiration and the courage, as well as insights to overcome whatever situation you find yourself in. Okay, and I want to leave you on a more positive note. So that will conclude this particular reading, and I'll do another. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.